Hey guys, welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to show you how you can how to create a login and register page in Django. So here I'm going to show you the fastest and the simplest way possible. We are going to do it with very much less code and with much functionality. Let me show you what we are going to do. So here, if I go to my register page, so this is my register page. In this video we are not going to concern ourselves with the design, so it's just the functionality. So let's say I'm going to register myself, and I type in a password. I type in two wrong password and I click register. You see a user with that username already exists, and the two password fields didn't match. So here we are getting the form errors. And if I try to log in with another user, okay, let's say let me change the name, and I get the correct password. Let me give another password, and again I put in my password and I register. You see the two password fields didn't match. Let's say I'm trying to register with a real information. So in my password, let me type in the correct password, and also here I put in my correct password and I click on register. So we are currently registering ourselves. So if a user is already loading, so let's give some time. So now this is the login page. So the login page also have field errors, and we can catch in our errors. So let's say I try to log in with the registered user, and here I put in my password and I click on login. So now I'll be directed to my dashboard. It's a very simple dashboard. So it's currently loading. So here, this is the name. Hi, my name, welcome to your dashboard. And if I click on logout, I'm redirected to my home page, which is here, and I have this hello world. The most interesting thing is the most interesting thing about this project is that I use a very less code. Look at my view, very simple, and look at my URLs, very simple. With just few lines of code, you are going to create that beautiful user authentication. Please, let's get into the video. Now let's start creating our project here. So I'll go to my terminal, create a new terminal. I'm going to create a new terminal like this. So here, the same way we create Django project. So I'm going to just say first you install Django, pip install Django, pip install Django. Although Django is already installed on my computer. So it's telling me requirements already satisfied. So after installing Django, this next thing is to start. I'm going to say Django admin start project. Django admin start project. The name of the project, let's give it accounts. Django admin start project, and I'll call the name of this project accounts. So after that, I'm going to cd into that account, then, and I'll say python manage.py start app, and the name of this app, let's say users. So after that, so if I open this here, so I have this accounts and I have this this user, the name of this app. So anytime you create an app, let's just run our migration. So python manage.py migrate, and after that I'm going to run the server. So it's currently running the migration, it's creating our database. So this is DB SQLite3 that we have there. So then I'm going to say python manage.py run server. So if you install Django correctly, everything should run without error. And after that, we can just view our Django test page. If I control click this, so we should have Django custom test page displayed. So this installed works successfully. So you should have this if you have installed Django correctly. So now let's start with our configuration, and let's start our project in proper. So the next thing, anytime you install an app, so let's create in this our user app, I'm going to create a new file. So the name of this file is going to be urls.py, like this. So now this urls.py, I'm going to register it in this my overall URLs. So if I come down, let me remove, I don't need my terminal now. So if I come down here, I'm just going to say include. After that, I'm going to pass in a path like this to register our URLs. So now it's going to be an empty string, then I'll call this include. So I know that we are already familiar with this, so but it's just some prerequisite that we need to do. So now the thing is that our app is what users, and I want to get this users.urls.py. So I'm just going to say users.urls like this. The name of this account, I'm getting these URLs that we have here. So after that, if I go to my users.urls, so here I'm just going to say from Django.urls import paths like this, and after that I'll say URL patterns is this. So if I save this and reload, everything should work well. So now the next thing we want to do is let's just define, okay, the next thing we want to do is in our settings.py, let us register our app. So in this installed apps, I'm just going to add users inside. So here is going to be users, the name of your app, like that. So now let's create some views. So now that we have done everything we need to do, let's just create some views. So here I'm going to define home, and it's going to be a request like this, and I'll return an HTTP response. But first, let me import that HTTP response. So import HTTP response. So HTTP response, and it's going to be hello world. Now after that, in this my urls.py, so I know we are familiar with this. Let me just import from .views, import home, and here I'll call my path and I'll pass in my home there. So if I go back to the browser, we should have hello world displayed. So we have our hello world there. So now let's continue with our authentication. So if I go back to my code now, so since everything is working fine, all our configurations are working fine. So in this my users.py, in this my users app, I'm going to create a new file, which is forms.py. Now in this forms, first I'm going to import forms. So I'll import forms from Django import forms. Then after that, I'm going to create a class, and it's going to be user register form like this. Now before I continue, I need to import another stuff. So what I need to install to import is Django built-in user creation form. So that's what we want to use. So I'm just going to say from Django .contrib.auth import user creation form .contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. User creation form. Then I'll pass in that form here. So that's what we want to use, user creation form. So after that, here I can just say class meta like this, and I'll say our model is our database, which is DB, and also fields. Now what are the fields that we want in our register view? So one is the username, then the password, the first password, password 1, and the second password, which will be the password 2, which is the confirmed password. So now these are the basic information or the basic field that are in user creation form. So if you want to add any other field, you can add it here. So for example, let's say I want to add my email. So I can just say let's say forms.email field like this. So with that, I've added, or let's say forms.email form rather, forms.email field, yeah, forms.email field. So here I can just pass in the email that we just had. So I'll say email like this, and I'll put comma. So this is our basic user creation form. So this is the forms that we create. So now let's go and configure the form in our views.py. So if I come back to my views.py, so in this class I'm going to have another class, and this class is going to be user register view. We want to create our view now. So before that, what I want to use is a Django class-based views. If you are not familiar with Django class-based views, please watch my video or my tutorial on Django class-based views. Click on the link in the description or check your top banner or your top of your screen. You're going to see the banner there to check my videos on Django class-based view. So what we want to use is a generic create view. So I'm going to say from Django.views, import generic, and here I'm going to say generic dot create view, like that. Now inside this user register view, the first thing is our form class. So form class, I'm going to pass it there. Now the next thing is the template name. I'm also going to pass it there. And after that is the success URL. After the user has successfully registered, what should happen? So the first thing, the form class is our user creation forms that we create here, this user register form. So therefore I have to import it in this views.py. So here I'm just going to say, let me see if I can import it directly. Okay, it's not coming. So I'll say from .forms import user register form, like this. So the user register form, the name of this class that we have here, user register form. So I imported it here. So I'll pass it into this form class. I'll say user register form. So our form class is user register form. Our template name, so let's create templates. So in this my users, I'm going to create a new folder. So inside this folder, I'll call this folder templates. Now in this folder, I'm going to create another folder again. So this folder is going to be registration, like that. Now inside this registration, there are going to be two files, register.html and also login.html. So after that, let me leave them. So if I go back to my views.py, so my template name is going to be registration, that folder, this folder that we have, this folder first, registration slash register.html. Now success URL, we are going to use reverse lazy. So first I need to import reverse lazy. Let me first import reverse lazy up here. So here I'll call it reverse lazy. Now after you have successfully registered, it should reverse you to our login page. Now before we continue, I'm going to go back to this my overall URLs in this my account URLs here. Now there's another thing I need to pass in before I pass this our users URL. So I'm going to say path again. It's going to be an empty string, just like the empty string of this, and I'll say include django.contrib.auth.urls. Now to make our work a little bit easier, or to make it a little bit better, I can just pass in here, let's say account, then here I'll pass in account again, or let's leave it, we don't need it. So for this tutorial I don't need to put it, let's just remove it first, it's not necessary. So here you put comma so that you don't have any errors. So after that, okay, it's currently reloading, so it has reloaded now and we don't have any error. So if I come back to my views, we have defined our views. The next thing we just need to do is to go to this register.html. So here in this my register.html, so I'll change this Django template to normal HTML. If you are using VS Code, you can do it so that you have any issue. So the first one, let's create a div, and inside this div, let's an h1 tag first, and I'll say register, and in this register I'm going to have a form, and inside this form, first the form method is going to be post. Form method is post, and inside the form, the first thing, just like the way we used to do it if you are using Django forms, csrf_token, like this. And to get the form fields, I'm just going to pass in form.as_p, and then button, and the type should be submit, and here I'm going to add register like this. Now after that, in this place, let's say a p tag. So already have an account, so it's going to be login. So if you already have an account, you should log in. So how can we do that? Percentage URL, and I'll say login like that, and here I'll pass in the login too. So now the next thing we just need to do is let me remove some things here that we don't need yet. So if I come back to this my urls.py of my users, so we have not registered these views, this class user register view, so I need to register it in my urls.py. So if I put comma here, I'm just going to put comma here, and I'll call that user register view, and here I'll put comma again. Let me give this place a name. So the name of this, in case of when we are redirecting it in our templates, so let's call it home. Here I'm going to call another part again, and it's going to be /register like that. And also then I'm going to call, okay, yeah, let's put comma 2 here, that's why we're having the error. So now I'm going to call this user register view. Now since user register view is a class view, so I need to add this as_view so that I can see it as a function view. So anytime you define a class view, you need to add that as_view. Then I'm going to give this a name as well, and this name is going to be register like this. So everything is working well. So if I go back to my browser, let me just click this and go back to the browser. So I still have this hello world. This is my home page. If I say /register like this, so now I have this custom register page like this. So you see, this is the password confirmation, and also I have my email, then register. So here are like built-in Django form. This is a built-in Django form register page. So we can simplify it and remove everything like this. We don't actually need all these things. So how can we do that? So if you just come to, there are two ways. Come to the view page source. So if you see the way it is, for example, here I have the input type, and we can just do it. We can copy this, or we can just do it ourselves. Simplify this, because actually we don't need all this thing that is telling us that your password can be similar. So these are just Django's built-in user creation form. So in a normal page you won't see all this thing, or if you like, you can leave it like that. So to make our work easier, or since we don't need all those all this list of how the Django's like built-in errors, we don't actually need them. So I'll go back to my code, my Visual Studio code. So here in this register.html, so instead of just passing this form.as_p directly, I'll create my own fields like that. So the first field, let me say input. The first one is text, input type text. Let me input text like that. So input type is text. Name, you have to be careful. Username, you have to give it the same name that we have in our forms.py. Let me open our forms.py. So the name is what? Username. So if I come back here, I'll give it name, username. ID, I can just say ID underscore username like that. Now let's give it a label. So label for ID underscore username. So this label, let's give it, here will be username like this. Then after that, what else do we need? We need, let me copy, we need the first password, the second password, and our email. So and the email, I'll paste it here too. So wait, let's just rearrange it well. So in this place, in this second one, is going to be input type email, username, the name is going to be email, and here is going to be ID underscore email, and here will be label for ID underscore email. Sorry, id underscore email. And the same goes for this. Here input type password, name is going to be password 1, and id is going to be, let's say, id underscore password 1, and here is going to be id underscore password 1 as well. Now the last one is going to be password again. Input type password, name should be password 2. If you see the way I'm naming them the same way we name them in our forms.py. And here is going to be id underscore password 2, and label for id underscore password 2, like that. Before going to our browser, first here is username, here should be email, and let me be giving break tag here, break tag, and here let's give another break tag, and also here let's give another break tag, and here also let's give another break tag. So here is username, here is email, and here is, let's say, password, and here will be confirm password, and that's all. So if I save and go back to the browser, and refresh, so we have this username, email, password, and confirm password. So here I'm not worrying about any style, so we can give any style you want. So if I just say, okay, let's say username, let's give the username, let me say my name. Email, I'm going to give a user email. Password, I'm just going to give a password. And confirm password again, I'm going to give another password, and I click on register. So it's already registered. The thing is that it returned an error, but we didn't write any code to catch the errors or to like display the errors, so that's why it's just doing like this. So actually it has not yet registered. So now I'm going to paste the code to my code now. If I go back to my Visual Studio Code now, so here I'm going to paste the code right here, so to catch the errors. So this code is that if there is form.errors for field in form, for error in field.errors, it should like display the error, although this is a bootstrap class. So since we are not using any design, let me just remove this, and let me just remove this as well. So this is going to catch the error. So if I save this and go back to my browser, and let's refresh this page, and cancel, let me just run it again. So let's try to make a new user. Let me say this username is my name, email user at gmail.com, password, I'm going to give a password, and yeah, I'm going to give a wrong password to see. So now it says what the password fields didn't match. So now we are catching the errors. So let me register very well now. So again, user, so I'm going to give a good password now. So I've currently input my password, so I'm going to put another password to confirm the password again. And if I register now, so it's currently registering, is loading. So now you see when we register, it redirected us to this login page, but we did not have anything in our login page. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the code now. So in the same way, I'm just going to, okay, let me go back to my login.html here. So let's say what we have here, let me just copy this and paste it here. So instead of this place, it's going to be login, and the same thing, this is going to use to get the errors. And instead of us having this, I'm just going to remove all this and return like the same way we used to get the form.as_p, and save this, and here it should return back to register. Now after that, the next thing we want to do is that after the login, where should they go to? So to do that, I'm going to come to this my settings.py. So here I'm going to add login underscore redirect underscore URL is equal to, so when you log in, where should you go, and logout underscore redirect underscore URL. Now before finishing this, I just want to do something. I want to create a dashboard. So let me go back to my views.py. So I'm going to just say define dashboard, then it's going to be a request, and return render requests, and let's say dashboard.html. So now after that, there's another thing that we need to do. So we want to, this dashboard, we want to restrict it to only logged in user. So how can we do that? I have to import something as login. So at login required. So from Django.contrib.decorators import at import login required, and here I'm going to put at login required. So this is going to restrict the user, that only logged in user can access this dashboard.html. So let's put it in this urls.py. So here I'm going to call path, and let's say dashboard, and it's going to be, let's import the view dashboard, and yeah, I'll pass it here dashboard like that. Name is going to be dashboard again. So with this, okay, cannot import dashboard from views. Let me come to my views. Oh, I didn't spell it well, so it's dashboard like this. So if I save, and it's reloading, as you can see here. So everything is working fine now. So the only thing we need to do is to create, in this template I'm going to create a new file, and I'll call this file dashboard.html, and in this, let me change from here to my normal HTML, and okay. So with this now I can just say h1, and I'll say here, I'll say hi, and here to get the username I'll just say user does get underscore username, and I, the name, welcome to your dashboard. Then after that I'm going to put like a tag, a reference, the percentage, the Django templates tag, and URL is going to be logout like this. And after that I'll say log out. So now everything is, so if I come back to my settings.py, what I just did now, I have this dashboard. So if I come back to this settings.py, so if a user is logged in, you should go to what? To dashboard, and when you log out, you should go to home. Now notice this dashboard is in these URLs. The name we give our dashboard URL this, and this home is this. So let's test everything. So if I go back to the browser now and refresh, we have registered before. Let me refresh this page. So it's loading. So now we have this username and password, Abby. So the username I used, I think my Ayomide like this, and the password that I use, let me input my password. So input your password as well. And okay, this place that is registered, let's change it to login. Let me go back to the code in login.html here. So this place should be login. So let's go back now and refresh this page. Let's refresh again. Okay, it has changed to login now. So here the name that I use and the password, okay, I'll input my password now. So let's log in. So now we are currently logging in. So if everything works well, we should be directed to our dashboard. Is logging me in? Yes. Look at my dashboard now. If you see, this is my dashboard, and it's telling me that what? Hi, my name, welcome to your dashboard. So if I log out, it's going to return me back to home where we have hello world. Okay, something is not working. If I come back to my code now, if you see the error here, it says method not allowed, get logout. So it's telling us that what method is not allowed. We are using get request. So to solve this, let me go back to my dashboard.html. So this linking is just using get request, which is not like, this is a post request. So the only way we can do this is wrapping this in a form tag. So form method, like post like this, then I'll copy this action, should be this, what is form action should be this URL, like what we have here, and I will remove this a tag. We don't need this a tag. So then anytime you use form, don't forget your CSRF token. So I'll add my CSRF underscore token, and then I'll just try to add like button, a button, submit button, sorry, a button which is going to be logout. And in this button, the type is going to be submit, like this. So if I save this and okay, look at my form. I should close this with, I'll cut what we have here and paste it here. So everything is already set like that. But before we continue, in this login.html, already an account, register here should be register, not login. So register, like this. So if I save this and go back to the browser, if I refresh this, okay, let me go back like here and refresh this page. You see now, if I say logout, I'm redirected to this home page, which is hello world. So this is how you can create user authentication and authorization the fastest and the simplest way possible in Django. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and most importantly share this video. So thank you for watching.